Hi, everybody. Welcome to the AEW Rewind podcast, where we talk all about all elite wrestling. My name is Shawn DeLong.
And I'm Justin Bradley.
And this week was another great episode of Dynamite, but a little bit of Dynamite news. We have the New Japan Pro Wrestling is returning June 13th, and is going to start off with the New Japan Cup, which is big news.
That's huge, and it's gonna be fun show, fun tournament.
I think it's great for them to come back with the tournament, because I feel like that's a good way to get restarted.
Yeah, it gives the viewer something to look forward to instead of just going to a normal show. So
yeah, it gives NJPW kind of like a launching off point.
Yeah, and it sounds like there won't be fans, at least in the beginning. They're 2 weeks ahead of us on the whole pandemic, like whole virus timeline. So they'll probably be one of the first places to have fans at wrestling events.
Maybe.
I mean, who knows? America's kind of after what's been going on.
You're trying to do that, but
it just seems like with the protests and all that stuff, like nobody, like the amount of people that were all together at once, like I don't see why not anymore. Like I feel like it's already kind of just like free game right now.
We're in a weird place right now.
Yeah, like it was weird, and I don't know. It's starting to feel a little bit back to normal, but we're still, doing some things.
But I think seeing like New Japan get restarted again kind of has maybe some I guess a good precedent that some of the other organizations that stopped recently, like Ring of Honor, could eventually restart again.
Oh maybe. Yeah, I'm sure wrestling will be back very, very soon with other than just AEW and WWE, and obviously New Japan was we just talking about. But yeah, it'll be the one thing I'm guessing indie shows will be the first people to have fans because there's not as many people.
There's definitely not as much people showing up.
And I'm guessing there's going to be less rules, and obviously the risk that AEW would take compared to an indie company would be huge if something were to go wrong. So they have to be really smart about it.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the episode of Dynamite for this week, we have Chris Jericho on commentary tonight. He was kind of he was great, but there were some points where it was kind of
I mean, I thought it would just be like Chris Jericho and Tony Schiavone. I didn't think
they had all four of them there.
All four of them there. I think it was a little too crowded. But yeah, I know JR really liked this first match. It seemed like this is what he loved.
Yeah, and also Justin Roberts was back on ring announcing.
Yeah, which is great. I missed him announcing Jon Moxley into the ring, or and before the match. So I can't wait to see him. Can't wait to hear him say his name again.
Yep. So the first match of the night was FDR making their debut against the Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, and their music is so good, and I don't know if that car is that just going to be like a theme. Is that they're just
because they came out to the ring in their car that they came out to about 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, and they pulled up, they came out, and you knew they were all business. I mean, as you know, that's kind of their theme is they're just no flex, just fists,
old school wrestling, tag team wrestling.
Yeah, and they really couldn't have paired a better team to face them than the Butcher and the Blade,
who are also pretty old school style as well.
Yeah. For their first match, this was this was one of the best tag matches I've seen in a while, and honestly, it's really good to see the Butcher and the Blade get better because they were kind of new to wrestling when they first signed with AEW, but you can definitely see how much progress.
They did bring up. I think they only said they were wrestling as a tag team for maybe 8 years or whatever. I think
it's not been long. They're kind of part-time people. That's kind of what they do for fun. And obviously, it's become more of a serious.
Yeah, because they also they have their I'm pretty sure I think the Butcher was part of. He was on the
guitar.
He's on a metal band. Kind of like how Chris Jericho was part of his rock band. So it's not too out of the ordinary, I guess.
Yeah. With the Butcher and the Blade, I mean, a great match. They really, I don't think this this loss for them really hurts them at all. But,
not at all.
But I just really hope they start picking up some wins here. But we can get into the match.
Yeah, it was good to see FTR. They went out and they did their thing. Was really what it was all about. They did their they kind of did some things I remember them doing back in NXT where they would like do like dirty moves, like kind of cheap shots, but they weren't like blatant, like real, like they weren't like twisting your rules, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they did a really good job of that. They weren't excessive about it. You know, it was here and there. I was really scared. Dax, I believe, he hurt his shoulder apparently. You know, part in the match, and he like faked the injury
Yeah,
and
they
did a
faked
really
the
good
injury.
job of selling that. I was like, oh no, he got hurt. And I
That
was
was
like,
kind of how I was thinking too. I was like, no, this is not going to happen right now.
yeah, but he did a really good job of selling that.
hmm of course, there's a lot of good double team moves from with each other. Like there's an assisted DDT that the FTR do. They did like a superplex off the top rope, and then the other one did an elbow drop from the other
Yeah, it
rope.
was like a frog splash kind of thing. That was sick. I've never seen anything like that. I feel like where the combination of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you could just tell the energy that they were bringing. Like they were waiting for this moment to be like finally wrestle, not in a WWE ring. Um, they killed it.
So of course, when they would go on to win the match, they would hit the what was called the Goodnight Express, which is the was called the Shatter Machine in NXT and WWE on the Butcher, and then they followed that up with hitting their Spike Pile Driver on the Blade for FTR to get the win.
Yeah, and there's some historical relevance to that move, their finisher that they did there.
Yeah,
So that's kind of interesting to keep an eye on.
yeah, because back in like the old territory days, like a Spike Pile Driver would like put you out for months.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see where they go. I mean, obviously we'll get into after the match what happens there, but
Oh yes.
yeah,
But I really like
great
how
match.
FTR always kind of has like always finds ways to do homages to like the classic style of like tag team wrestling and all.
Yeah. And I think they really put the world on notice. I think they
Mhm.
really showed a lot of people how good they still are. I mean, like how good they are, and like how poorly treated they were, and how much talent like WWE let go.
Because it's like they weren't lying that they were like one of the best tag teams in the world. Like they
No,
really know what they're doing.
when they're able to do what they want to do and have fun with it, they're easily one of the best. And
Yeah, because it's like they bring a old style to a new modern audience.
yeah, and it's good for both two
Mhm.
different audiences.
So after the match, they had an interview was going to be with FTR, but this brings out the Young Bucks, which they say that they forgot to properly introduce themselves, which leads to them being like, "We're the best tag team in all of AEW and the entire world. How you doing?" Is basically what they said.
Yeah, and well, I mean, who knows? They're really gonna. I guarantee you, they're gonna try and push this off until they can have fans again, because this is the match that everybody's been waiting for. I think they could easily push this off with the amount of tag teams that AEW has. So, I think they're gonna push this off, but they can definitely have a long
Mm.
feud.
Because they do seem really close to just being like, "We're gonna have this match at Firefest."
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think they're smarter than that.
Because then afterwards, the Butcher and the Blade attacked the Young Bucks from behind. But then instead of FTR attacking the Young Bucks as well, they attacked Butcher and the Blade instead, which I thought was interesting because that really
Yeah, and
brings
that
new
continues
dynamic.
their narrative that they aren't gonna beat the Young, because they've been waiting for this moment. They're not gonna make them look like less superior because they beat somebody who was already getting beaten up, like who was already um you know in trouble. So great stuff. I don't get why we'll get into it. I don't get why Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc came in, but uh
Well,
yeah, I
well,
don't know what happened.
yeah, I don't know about that either, but yeah, of course the whole fighting happened and they got pulled apart, and then that's the end of that segment.
But
And let's
what
go.
I would love real quick is for them to somehow do like a trios tag, like not a trios, like a 3-team tag match or something between Hangman and Kenny, FTR, and the Young Bucks. I think that would be really fun.
So the next segment, I guess, which is one I probably have the most problem with, is they go to the back to have a interview with the Natural Nightmares, and there we find out that they're gonna have a match for the tag titles next week.
So yeah,
Which, like,
I
what?
don't.
I don't know what else to say about that.
I mean, I don't know. I just know they're not gonna win.
Of course they're not.
This is really just leading to, the whole Allie thing. I'm sure Allie will get involved and cost them the match.
Yeah, they even kind of allude to that.
It's basically Allie and QT. Like, Allie's using QT for what we don't know yet. But QT's being played basically by Allie, and he thinks that she really likes him. But it's pretty obvious that she doesn't. There's definitely no reason for her being, acting like she likes him. It's an interesting storyline. It's kind of, there's some funny parts to it. They're trying to build this on Dark as like something to look forward to on Dark, which they've been doing a pretty good job at. But yeah, we'll get into it with like the whole like match, the Cody matches. Like, it's like who's gonna win, and I think that kind of takes the fun out of it. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
they're gonna lose to those guys.
I mean, like, I don't think it's gonna be a bad match. Like, I think it's gonna be a good match, but it just feels like, I don't know. It's just some like they can't just like throw them into it just to give Hangman and Omega like another challenger.
Yeah, I think they really need to put the champions on TV too. So this gives them some TV time as a tag team.
I guess I understand like why is this happening, but it's just of all the teams to put in there, it's kind of like confusing to me a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see at Fyter Fest. I mean, because we're assuming Kenny and Hangman are going to win, but it'll be interesting to see if they give the best friends the titles or if they keep them. Because if they keep them, I don't know what they're going to do after that.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know what they would do after that. Then moving on to the next match of the night, we have a tag team match between Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose against Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida.
And this wasn't a bad match. I'm just kind of getting tired of the same faces around. Like,
yeah, because
I just feel like we've seen this match just like so many different ways.
Yeah, because we did like the Go Home Show 2 Double or Nothing was this exact same match, but it was with Dr. Britt Baker instead of Penelope Ford.
Yeah, it's again they're in a tough spot here,
Which
with who they have, but it's just I mean, I'm not gonna like hate on them for it because I understand.
Yeah, because I know there's not a lot of women right now in their roster to work with because of the whole coronavirus.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. But obviously, Evil Uno and Sue Grayson showed up, who are from Canada, so they're obviously relaxing on travel restrictions right now. So if they can get back, hopefully, Pentagon can get up back from Mexico and we can see some Lucha Brothers. But this is way off topic. Good match here for the women. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad.
And after the outcome of this match gets up like sets up a possible feature match because Penelope Ford hits Hikaru Shida with the title belt and then hits her suplex on Hikaru to get the win for her team. So I think this could eventually set up a match maybe for Fyter Fest for the women's title.
Yeah. Again, I don't think Shida's going to lose to Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I just don't know where they go because there's not many other faces to face her that would make like sense that they could beat her. I don't know. I mean, I think Nyla Rose could face her again, but
I think Penelope right now is the right person to be put into the situation because
Yeah, I get it. There was a really sick spot in this match where Nyla did that. She jumps off the top rope and does like a knee or whatever to the head, and
that's one of her signature moves, and it always looks great.
Yeah, and that was the first time I think she did it to two people, and they just like bounced off the ropes, which was really cool.
Yeah, and also Chris Statlander did like a diving like attack onto Kip Sabian, who's at ringside.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not like a huge fan of Kip Sabian, but I don't hate the guy. I think he's a solid mid-card guy, but I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me, and I don't really like that tag team. But Penelope's been pretty good, I'd say. She's definitely got like all these women are getting better. So, the more chemistry they have.
That's true.
Yeah, the more chemistry they have, it'll be exciting to see where they go, and hopefully soon, we can get some of those over, other country wrestling, their talent that they have signed to come over and wrestle for the women's division.
So we have two quick vignettes. One from Darby Allin, who is skateboarding with Tony Hawk, which I saw on he posted about that on social media recently as well, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool connection there because for those of you who don't know, Darby obviously likes to skateboard, He actually does, like, that's a real thing. That's not just, like a gimmick. He actually, grew up skateboarding and stuff like that. So
Because I wonder at the time he was with like Travis Pastrana that one time on social media.
he's done some crazy. I mean, again, he's not. I don't know if that's a work or not, but he's not cleared to wrestle, but he's cleared to like do crazy stuff.
Yeah, he used to say
works.
that like the doctors were supposed to saying that he wasn't medically cleared, but I don't know how much is that true. But
yeah. Again, Darby, like, I don't know what they're doing with Darby, but I think they kind of got scared with no fans that he wouldn't get over as much. But I think even when the fans come back, he's going to be one of the most over people on the roster.
yeah, I mean he always so far has had a good connection with the fans.
I mean, it's pretty clear also that he wants to face Brian Cage at some point, which we'll probably get that. I just don't know who you have Darby face right now when he gets cleared.
And then the other short vignette that they had was with Britt Baker, and she's basically saying that she was getting tired of listening to Big Swole.
Yeah, I mean, and Big Swole is a very talkative person, as we heard on Double or Nothing when she was just on in the crowd. But this will be. I'm assuming this is going to be her match at All Out.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I imagine.
I could see also Big Swole getting kind of like a push leading up to that. Like I could see her getting a lot more wins leading up to that match.
Yeah. Again, this obviously wasn't as good as last week's promo that Dr. Baker.
Yeah, that one was very entertaining.
Yeah, this one was just kind of like just her talking about everything. But again, she's taking advantage of what the bad situation that she's in, if she's actually hurt or whatever, but she's taking advantage of it. So, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, and then the next match on the night was a 6-man tag match between Santana Ortiz and Jake Hager versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to this match. This was probably, other than the FTR match, this was probably like the second match I was looking forward to the most.
This was a great match.
Yeah, because all the characters in the ring, just like their characters alone, like you knew it was going to be fun. So
yeah, and this really sets up everything that's been going on right now between the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy in the Inner Circle.
Yeah, and I mean it's pretty clear that they're trying to do that whole, Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho kind of thing.
Which I'm totally be ready for a match at Fyter Fest.
Yeah, I'm imagining that's what would happen at Fyter Fest. Yeah, I mean, solid match here, classic. Proud and powerful Santana Ortiz, classic best friends with Orange Cassidy. You can't really go wrong with this at all.
It's almost surprising seeing Orange Cassidy was basically like the guy that really like take everybody out of the Inner Circle.
Yeah, because I mean they're really trying to put him over. I mean he's already over, but they're trying to show that he can wrestle still. He's not just a gimmick guy. And that was a great. He had a great couple spots there with all the guys.
I really like even having him be like this guy who like he seems like you always be like really lazy, and then until like someone makes him stop being lazy, he'll just like start wrestling out of his mind.
Yeah, he gets he hulks up.
Yeah,
and then he goes off. But great stuff here, like I said, obviously.
And Orange Cassidy actually gets the win for his team after getting up a surprise roll up on.
Yeah, that was a weird roll.
Yeah. He has a surprise roll up on Ortiz to get the win for him and the Best Friends, which then sets up the big beatdown that happens after their match.
Yeah, and I mean, Jericho, was on commentary the whole time. Comes out with the bat, and it looks like he did hit Cassidy like that. He was bleeding out of his ear. Hope he's okay.
Of course, they even brought out oranges.
Yeah, and of course, bring out the oranges, the blood oranges or whatever.
Blood oranges, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of goofy, but I'm okay with it because it's Chris Jericho and it's Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, because of course they can seem to always make it work.
Yeah.
Of course, they beat up Orange Cassidy with the blood oranges, and then Jericho's like, the blood Orange Cassidy has just been juiced.
Yeah, he's just been juiced.
And then they pour out all the oranges out of the bag on top of him.
Yeah, and do you think Cassidy wins this match? Like when they finally fight?
I don't think so. I believe Cassidy's gonna have like a really good showing, like probably his best showing to date. but like I think Jericho's gonna get the win because of how like he's been taking losses at Double or Nothing and
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm assuming, like I
I'm
said,
definitely looking forward to it.
On Fyter Fest.
So then after this match, apparently I saw they had MJF picks a fight with the Gun Club, which will set up a match next week.
I was just happy to see MJF like with a microphone because we haven't really seen him. Or I don't think in like 2 weeks, really. I mean, he was there, like had that spot with Jungle Boy, but other than that, like he really hasn't had much to say.
Which I think this match, the match that he's gonna have next week is pretty much gonna be like his, I guess, return match from Double or Nothing, just to keep him all of our minds. But
yeah, and I'm 100% sure he's gonna beat Billy Gunn. I mean,
oh yeah, of course.
I'm sure. I would love to see Warlow Billy Gunn. I think that would be a fun little match there. I don't really want to see much Billy Gunn though, other than his just him as a character, but not him in the ring.
Yeah, he should spend time. Like if he's in the ring, he should be spending time putting over his opponents.
Yeah, and the battle royals are fine, but I just think let him take it easy and have a match here or there.
Yeah, he's had his career.
Yeah.
So then the next match on the night is Sammy Guevara versus Colt Cabana. The match itself wasn't too crazy, but I feel like what happens then at the end of this match sets up something that's way more interesting that could go down the line.
Yeah, I mean it was just a normal match. Wasn't amazing, but it did its job. And there were two storylines that were going into this match. Obviously, Sammy with Matt Hardy, which we'll get into, and then Colt Cabana with the Dark Order, which got pretty interesting.
Yes, because how Colt Cabana loses is because he goes for the Chicago skyline, but he slips on the ropes, and then Sammy wins by hitting the GTH.
That move is crazy. Like obviously it looks like the CM Punk, like the GTS, but
yeah, actually for a while I was like, why is it called the GTH? And then I put it together and I was like, oh right.
yeah, they can't use that. So, but Sammy, we'll get into it, but we'll see. I think they're just kind of teasing it, him breaking off of the inner circle, but he could easily have a babyface run here.
He could really,
and he would kill it. I think he would have fun with that. The fans really like Sammy. He has his own YouTube channel with over 100,000 subs. Like he has a lot of fans. And I could see it. He has a baby face, but then people say, baby face. If you have a baby face, you'll be the best heel or whatever because people just if you can just get on their nerves easier.
it's a good quote. Yeah. But yeah, after the match though, the Dark Order come out, and this is where we see Evil Uno and Stu Grayson for the first time in months.
I popped because I was like, yes, because this is what they needed somebody. Because obviously Brody Lee's great, but they needed somebody else. They needed those guys back, and
They did need them back.
And they're obviously from Canada, so if they're allowed to come in, that's great. That's a step in the right direction as far as talent. They have a lot of their talent back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the people overseas like Pac, Riho, those kind of names. And then the one if Mexico, if Mexico can kind of let the travel ban, lift it a little bit, I'd love to see Pentagon back on my TV with Rey Fenix.
Yeah, I think right now I feel like it's like the countries who are closer to the United States have the high opportunity to come back.
Yeah, because you could travel in a car. You don't have to fly. It's way less.
Because flying by airplane is a much different situation.
Yeah,
definitely. So this leads to Brody Lee coming out, and then he helps up Colt Cabana from off the ground. And then when the Dark Order leave, Colt Cabana follows the way the Dark Order left.
Yeah, because that's the heel tunnel, and then the face tunnel's on the other side. So, yeah, and then obviously we'll get into it again when they go back. I forget how soon that was after, but
this was it was after it wasn't too far into the to afterwards, but after this they had a Sammy Guevara cuts a promo, but Matt Hardy comes out. And
yeah, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, he was like, here we go. Matt Hardy's gonna say something crazy again. And Matt says he starts out as normal Matt Hardy, and then he says that he respects him because he has the mindset of a Hardy Boy. And then, of course, Sammy Guevara says back a bunch of things saying that, like, that was when I think around the time he started saying that he should leave the inner circle to get his full potential.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, Sammy's right though. When he responded to this, he was like, "You literally almost killed me twice. Like,
That is true, yes.
why should I listen to you?" So that was a great line there.
And then that's where Matt Hardy
he just
changed
snaps.
to Matt Hardy changes to like V1 Matt Hardy, where he has like the Matt facts on the screen, and he says like he is a good, and the Matt fact is that he is a good driver.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah, I like that line they said there. And
I'm
then
surprised they did it because it was live. Because like they have to like edit that.
I guess they did. I guess the people in the crowd, I guess, don't really see the facts unless they throw it up onto like the
Yeah, I know.
Titantron. So then after that, there was some more like fighting back and forth, and then Matt changes into Broken Matt Hardy, and it seems like he challenges Sammy to a match in the further future.
He said he calls him Samuel. I remember that, and he's like, they must step in the ring because these events need to be documented or whatever he says. And then he calls for the deletion of Sammy. And then,
Which I'm assuming they're gonna have a match at Fighter Fest.
Yeah, I mean that would be a fun match. I assume Sammy would get the win here.
Maybe.
I don't know where they could go. I mean, I think Matt's obviously fine with taking a loss here. I mean, I think you could mess around with it. I think it'll be a fun match though.
Yeah. So then after this promo, they have a vignette featuring Joey Janela, and he is at the bar because he's feeling pretty down right now, and he says that he originally wanted to become a star, but after he had his big main event with Jon Moxley, he faded into darkness. But then
well, keep going. I didn't know.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was that, but after he left the bar, he runs into Sunny Kiss, and it seems like they kind of make up together.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that was that was a great pairing. That's a great pairing. They've been on a couple dark matches recently. They have really good chemistry. I think you could have a lot of fun with this duo. Janela is, I mean, before AEW started, like, I mean, when it started, you know, I was looking into wrestlers, and Janela has been one of my favorites in the company. Even now, he still is. Just he's a really great character. He's a great wrestler, and you know, it's a shame that they haven't been able to like, use him as well as they could have. And obviously, that's what the storyline's about. But I really think, again, I don't know if tag team wrestling for him is the way to go. But you know, it's something. For me, if Joey Janela's on my screen, I'm gonna be happy. So I don't really.
I was thinking, I think I asked you, like, do you think this is gonna be like a tag team that's gonna be going down the line from now?
Yeah, it definitely will be, and I'm really excited to see Janela because he had that really good match with Cody a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and you know, he kills it every time, I feel like. And then he had that good 6-man tag with the Young Bucks when FTR debuted. Like, he's been around, and I'm happy they're finally starting to use him more.
Yeah, I feel like this could go. It'd be better for him, and you know, to see him on doing more. Like he's being used more and more like matches, because I feel like he appears on our TVs and then he's gone for a while.
Yeah, he can do a lot too. Like, he can do obviously the extreme stuff. He can do normal wrestling. You know, he can do a lot of different types of styles.
Yeah, he's very like he can go back. He's like a dual-edged sword. Like, he has both types of wrestling in his styles that he can use.
Yeah, unlike Jimmy Havoc. But we can keep going.
All right. Moving on, we have an interview with Colt Cabana. Well, they try to get an interview with Colt Cabana because he shrugs off the interviewer, and he knocks on the locker room door of the Dark Order.
Yeah, and door opens, he walks in, door closes. I mean, that's all you need to know. It'll be, I mean, who knows? Maybe Colt's just, you know, gonna mess with them, you know, like, because Colt's kind of a funny guy, kind of a jokester. So maybe he's just like joking with them the whole time.
Because this could be interesting to see where this has been going.
Because he's like, I don't know, like he's always been a face. I'm pretty sure. I don't know much of the history of Colt Cabana, but from the way he like acts and stuff, it just seems like he can never be a heel. So I don't know what they're planning on doing with Colt Cabana in the Dark Order, but
it has been interesting to see him, like, at first, it seemed like a thing was like, well, it's obviously he's not going to join, but now you see them, like, generally, like, going to them now. So it seems interesting where they're going to go from this.
yeah. Again, I don't know if Colt Cabana is the right guy to bring on to the Dark Order, but hey, it's something
maybe
for the Dark Order. So
it's like, who knows? Maybe at the end of it, it's going to be like Colt Cabana fighting out of it and, like, I guess remembering who he is or whatever.
yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. I mean, I'm intrigued because I don't know what they're gonna do with this. Because who knows what they can do with Colt Cabana as a heel or a bad guy.
So so after this, they announced that Billy will be going against MJF next week, which it'll be a pretty good match, but
Yeah, there'll be some funny spots.
Then also they announced that a TNT title match will happen next week, which they haven't announced that yet, to my knowledge.
Well, I thought it was going to be Hager. We'll get into it.
We'll get into that. They also announced that Les Sex Gods are going to be going against the Best Friends next week.
Classic.
That's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, they do a really good job of making you interested. Obviously, we'll get into it with the TNT title, but they just do a really good job of keeping you interested, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. And then they also announced that the Young Bucks are going against the team of the Super Bad Death Squad, which is Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc's team name.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm just excited to see the Young Bucks because
they haven't had a match in a while.
Oh yeah, they did the 6-man tag.
Oh yeah, they did that, but like as a 2-man team, I guess.
And I'm sure FTR will get involved somehow. So
it'll set up something more down the line with them.
Yeah, easily. I'm just waiting for the storyline to keep building.
So the next segment on the show, they have a interview with Jon Moxley, who is the one like just arriving to the arena, and he's in a bad mood because he has no time for people who run their mouths or don't know what they're doing. And they said that that Taz really did get under Moxley's skin, and but what makes him dangerous is that what makes Moxley dangerous is that he is miserable, and basically just knowing that someone could beat him makes him pissed off.
Yeah. And then soon, I mean, didn't he say he was going to pop Cage's head like a pimple or something?
Yeah, I think he said something around the line like that.
Yeah. Classic Jon Moxley. And then, Taz comes flying in. Not flying in, but he comes walking in.
That was intense when they really had like that stare down and Taz was just like yelling in his face.
Yeah, and this was like the very, very, like the other times like Taz, but this was like being a heel, but like this time I really felt this was like the switch for him to be like a straight heel. Because I really felt like he was really pissed off and like he didn't care. Like he wasn't like trying to be, a face and a heel at the same time. And Taz is best as a heel, I feel like. Obviously he's great, when he's, having fun. But Taz is doing a really good job of putting over Brian Cage.
And, yeah, he has been.
Yeah, he was basically like, you better get your head right because you're gonna get put out or whatever. And I thought like it was a Hangman Page kind of scene where he's running in skinny jeans and shoes with no shirt on. Cage comes running
Cage
out
with his jeans, running in shirtless. Just I don't know, something about him with just wearing jeans for me is always such a weird visual.
Because he's so jacked, I don't know. I just feel like because of how jacked he is, it just looks weird when you have skinny jeans on.
Yeah, of course, this brings in the whole fight breaks out, and they're at this like car, which Moxley at one point tries to swing a pipe at him, and he misses.
That was so close to hitting Cage, I swear. I don't know. I had to rewatch it. Like if Cage didn't move like a second faster, it could have. I don't know, but they did it perfectly, that spot.
But then Cage gets the upper hand and slams Moxley twice onto the car.
Yeah, well, the first time, he did it, and then Taz was like, "Oh, just let him go."
Yeah,
let him go, and then Cage was like, looked at him, and then he just picked him up and threw him and broke the rear view mirror or whatever the back mirror of the car.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to see like that Cage kind of goes against what Taz says sometimes.
Yeah, we really haven't seen much of Moxley getting any offense in. I mean, he did get a little bit there.
Yeah,
but it'll be interesting to see what they do with this leading up to the paper, because I believe they're on the July 1st episode, like of the two-parter. I think they're on July 1st.
Oh, I thought they were
Maybe
July
not.
8th.
Maybe not. I don't remember, but I'm excited to see what Moxley does because I'm sure he's going to do something crazy after that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy match. Mox is gonna do something that's gonna make everyone like talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So this goes into the main event of the show. That's for the TNT title. Cody versus Marq Quen.
And I believe Marq Quen had a pretty good debut as a singles wrestler.
Oh yeah, he did amazing
WWE.
in this match, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we all didn't know that. We all knew Cody was going to win.
Yeah, going into it, yeah.
Like, which I really like. I get it. They're really trying to build Cody, but I don't think you really not build Cody, but they're trying to reinforce how good Cody is.
Yeah.
I want it to be, one of those things where he sits out in the ring and then the music hits and someone shows up and they don't like. I want it to be like I want some debuts. I want it to be a surprise instead of not knowing, because I feel like if you don't know who it is, you're gonna want to watch because you want to know who it is.
Yeah. And that's kind of like how it is looking like for next week, because but I have to say, Quinn really did really well in this match. He was selling that ankle injury that he's supposed to have.
He's
and
so good at selling injuries.
Honestly, I was like, halfway through that match, I was starting to feel bad for him. Like, I literally was like, man, this dude's injured.
Yeah, I mean, he did a really good job. I didn't know if he was really hurt or whatever. He had a couple good spots here. He had that 450 on the ramp there from the top rope. That was brutal.
And there's that like corkscrew DDT thing that he did. That was great.
I've never seen that in my life. I don't know, but it looks sick.
Yeah, it was an excellent match.
Basically, this title is just to build. Cody's just trying to build as many people as he can to put him over with buys. I mean, who knows how long Cody's going to have this belt for? I'm hoping maybe Marty Scurll or somebody shows up one of these times.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, because he's the leader. He signed with Ring of Honor. He's like the head booker, but right now with Ring of Honor, he's like one of the leaders of ROH. I feel like he could just be like, look, hey, I'm just gonna go wrestle for AEW for a little bit. I'll be, I'll still be around. Like, and I don't think they can really say much to it.
Yeah.
But
so then, of course, Cody wins the match after he catched a shooting star press that Quinn was attempting into like an ankle submission to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, the ending was. I mean, he was obviously gonna tap. Like, he wasn't gonna get out of that. And then because the show, I mean, that match ended at 9:55. Yeah,
and that was when I was kind of feeling like, oh well, something's gonna happen.
That's why I was expecting somebody to show up that we least expected, and then Jake Hager walks out of the tunnel, and I was like, oh no. I don't know. I just don't think Hager's like. I think a Hager Cody match is going to be god awful, but who knows?
We'll have to see how it turns out. I don't know. It's always it's hit or
week.
Yeah, I did think it was going to be next week, though. I feel like a match like this it's going to be hit or miss. Really?
I just thought, and then he said, "You want a match at Fighter?" Well, I was like, "Okay, well now we know Cody's not going to lose, and whoever he faces till Fighter Fest." I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen, but like now we know it's not.
That's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it like that.
I mean, hypothetically, you can't really. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but like, you don't. I mean, it doesn't mean that can happen, but
I mean, they make it seem like it's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's like, "You want to match a Fighter?" And I was like, "Oh no," because then it's like all these matches are like great, but we know Cody's gonna win.
Yeah, that's true. That's really.
I don't know who he's gonna face this week.
Next week, yeah.
Or next week, I mean. But I hope it's Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix was supposed to be apparently this. He was supposed to wrestle Cody, but he's still, I guess, recovering from that nasty bump he took before Double or Nothing. I don't blame him. Give him all the time off he wants. Let Pentagon come back with him.
I was like, right now, with how everything has been, I feel like giving someone time off for an injury is the best thing.
Yeah, just let him rock. Let him rest, get better. Don't need to rush him back right now. They're not in desperate need of Phoenix, but obviously it'll be a great asset
addition. Yeah, so I don't know who really could be next week. It could be literally anyone, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, easy route. They could just do Phoenix if he's healthy. I don't think they'll do that. I don't know what how many more days left are on these WWE contracts, but I think a really fun match storyline wise, like just like the story of the match would be Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona.
Mm.
He showed up. Obviously, he's not the best wrestler, but I think him and Cody could have some fun with that because they're pretty good friends. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
Pretty
I feel
great
like.
story.
Also, I feel like they're gonna probably announce what this match can be maybe either on Twitter like really late before the show or like literally the day of the Dynamite next week.
I would also like a Rusev kind of debut somehow. If he would sign with AEW, I think this would be a great way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like with how they haven't announced someone for next week's TNT title match, they should make it a surprise.
Or like Jeff Cobb. Could be anybody.
Yeah, I feel like they should just like have the person come out right there, and that's who he's going against.
Yeah, I think that would be great. But overall, we got the whole, the whole brawl happens because, who comes out? What?
Well,
why-
the the whole thing happens because Jake Hager attacks Arn, and then yeah, the Pride Party come back out, and the whole fight.
And then Matt Hardy comes out as a different person.
Well, he was dressed up like Michael Hayes when he was managing them way back when the Hardy Boys were in like the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I didn't hate it. I person I was expecting was Jake Hager to come out of the tunnel. So
yeah. So in total, I feel like it was a really good show. They got over. There's a lot of storylines being advanced in this week's episode.
Yeah, I think last week was more of a filler kind of episode. This week, they progressed some storylines. But
we're setting up Fyter Fest a little more.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have some things in store that we don't know about with this pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, the 2-night non-pay-per-view but pay-per-view on TV kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like 2-night special.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But I think soon. We talk about this every show, but hopefully sooner rather than later we can get some sort of fans in here. And I just think about the debuts that they could have had with fans, and it just hurts me to think about it. Because I think that would have put AEW over the hump, would be those clips of like everybody freaking out. Like when FTR showed up with the Young Bucks and stuff like that. Like I think there could have been a lot of great memorable moments that aren't, as memorable as they could have been.
So we have to make sure we tune in for next week's match, next week's episode, because I'm looking forward to that tag team match between Jericho and Guevara and the Best Friends. That looks like it's going to be probably the best match next week.
Yeah.
So that's going to have to do it for this week's episode. I'm Shawn Long.
I'm Justin Bradley.
Make sure you tune in next week's episode.